You know that feeling, right? You have this amazing idea, something you think is totally, completely new, and then you find out somebody else had a similar thought, maybe even years ago. It's a feeling we all get, and it really gets to the heart of this huge question. How original is any idea really? So in this explainer, we're going to tear into the myth of originality. So let's just ask it straight up. Is your best idea, that thing you're most proud of, is it truly 100% yours? Or is it maybe a brilliant combination, a fresh spin on something that was already out there? Now, this isn't about calling anyone a copycat. It's about trying to understand what creativity even is at its core. The philosopher Umberto Eco had this beautiful way of putting it. He said that every creative work is just part of a much bigger, endless conversation. Nothing just pops into existence out of thin air. It's all signs pointing to other signs, this gigantic web of interconnected ideas. And that really sets the stage for our first big concept. Okay, so it's everything is part of this endless conversation. What does that actually mean for the idea of originality? Well, it turns out there's a really powerful academic theory that gives us a way to think about this. It's called intertextuality. Now, I know it's a big word, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It says that creativity isn't about making something from nothing. It's about weaving. Every text, and that could be a book, a movie, a song, whatever, is woven from the threads of all the texts that came before it. It's always pulling in cultural references and shared knowledge. It's a constant dialogue with the past. So how does this talking actually work? Well, as you can see here, it can be a subtle allusion to an old myth, or a parody that straight up makes fun of another work, or a movie that totally imitates the structure of a famous novel. I mean, think about how many modern stories are still just the hero's journey, right? These aren't just little tricks. They're the basic ways that new art builds on the old. And this academic idea flows right into something we all see every single day. On one side, you've got the theory, intertextuality, and on the other, you've got its modern-day cousin, remix culture. They're really just two sides of the same coin. Intertextuality is the why, and remixing is the how we see it happen in our digital world. And you really can't find a better example than music sampling. A producer finds this killer drum break from an old funk record, grabs a couple seconds of it, messes with it, and then weaves it into a brand new track. It is the perfect, hands-on example of intertextuality in action, taking old signs and giving them brand new meaning. But this whole idea brings up a huge question. Exactly. If we just accept that all creation is basically a reshuffling of what's already out there, then why on earth do we have these massive legal systems designed to protect ideas as private property? It feels like a total contradiction. And this brings us to the really powerful counterargument. Because while culture might be one big remix, the law and philosophy often argue that your specific take, your unique combination, is deeply and personally yours. See, intellectual property law is basically built on two pillars. The utilitarian theory is pretty straightforward. We protect ideas to give people a financial reason to create more stuff. Simple. But the personality theory, which is what we're talking about here, is way deeper. It says a creative work isn't just a product, it's a piece of the creator's soul made real. Philosophers like Kant and Hegel actually saw this as a way for a person to literally extend their personality out into the world. Your painting, your song, it's a physical piece of your unique mind. And that's why an attack on the work can feel like a personal attack on you. And this isn't just some abstract philosophical idea. It has real legal power. This is where we get what are called moral rights. Even if you sell the copyright to your book, you still have the moral right to have your name on it. That's attribution. And you have the right to stop someone from, say, chopping up your masterpiece in a way that hurts your reputation. That's integrity. These rights are all about protecting that personal link between the creator and their work. So we've got these two powerful clashing ideas. Everything is a remix versus your work is a piece of you. And right into the middle of this debate walks this new, massive force that just throws both ideas into a blender: generative AI. And the speed of this, it's just been absolutely breathtaking. I mean, look at this timeline. In early 2022, AI art was kind of niche. By the end of 2023, with powerful open source models out there, it was a global phenomenon, completely changing creative work as we knew it. Now, research on this whole explosion has pointed to two key impacts. First, there's the productivity effect, which is obvious. AI lets people make a ton more stuff, which means just by sheer numbers, you're going to get more new ideas. But there's also a dilution effect. Because it's so easy to create, the average quality can drop, and finding a truly groundbreaking idea becomes harder. So way more stuff, but a lot more noise too. So what's the final score here? What's the net result of this trade-off? Well, researchers found that artists using AI produced a net increase of 4.3% in truly new, frontier-pushing creative works. So what does that mean? It means the productivity effect is winning. The sheer volume of new stuff being tried is actually pushing our collective creative boundaries forward. And this leads to the last and maybe the most fascinating question of all. Who is actually pushing that frontier now? Is it a handful of brilliant experts? Or is it, well, all of us? So in the early days of these AI tools, the research points to this group they call the masterminds. You know who these are. They're the top creators, the early adopters who were already super productive. AI just put them on steroids. And at first, they completely dominated in creating novel ideas. But then you have everyone else, the hive mind. This is the huge community of hobbyists and casual creators. Their contributions are more random, more occasional. Individually, they're not pushing the frontier like the masterminds. But the key thing is, there are a lot of them. In this chart just brilliantly shows what happened next. Before AI, the top 10% of creators made about 35% of the new ideas. After Midjourney came out, their share actually went up. The masterminds were pulling ahead. But then, look at late 2023 after the open source tools really took hold. Their dominance just collapses, down to 23%. So, where did all that market share go? It went to the hive mind. As the researchers put it right here, the tools empowered everybody else. The technology didn't just make the experts better, it lowered the barrier for creative exploration so much that the whole community could start making real, novel contributions. And that really is the main takeaway. The true revolution of these tools wasn't just about making images faster, it was about changing who gets to be part of that discovery process. It distributed the power to innovate from a few masterminds to a collective hive mind. Which leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. If AI is this infinite remixing machine and our collective hive mind is constantly exploring what's possible, maybe the most valuable human skill in the future isn't inventing the idea from scratch, but having the taste, the judgment, and the vision to find the best ideas in that infinite stream. Not invention, but curation. What do you think?